tackles about the procedures and techniques in manual loading and unloading. Manual loading, consider you have to move the load manually at all. So if possible, eliminate manual handling completely. So this number one reminder is to avoid. You have to question yourself, do you really have to manually move it? Or you have other ways not to carry it with your own hand. So as much as possible, completely eliminate manual handling. That is what is mean by avoid. In eliminating manual handling, you have to consider these things. Number one is fully mechanize the task if only possible. A move to big pails or fertilizers in big bags eliminates manual handling because they can only be moved by machine. Lalo na pag masyado ng malaki, diba? Hindi mo na kayang i-carry. Then, wala kang choice kundi gumamit ng mga machine. Introduce free handling system in your area, incorporating bulk storage bins, and distribute pipes to eliminate the handling of feed compounds. For example, in a banana plantation, so to eliminate handling, naglalagay sila ng mga parang nagmumove, mga pulleys, na doon na lang nila sinasabit yung mga na-harvest nila. Tapos kusa na yun, through mechanical support, nagmo-move na yun. So, hindi na kailangan ng manual handling. Or, kung kunyari, wala namang ganun, ginagawa nila, they're going to manually load it into the parang area na kung saan pwede din nilang isakay ito sa isang vehicle or cart. Yun yung tinatawag na. But as much as possible, you have to introduce a free handling system. Na kumbaga, sasabit mo na lang siya, tapos mag-move na yung mga yun. O kaya katulad sa airport, diba? To eliminate manual handling, nag-move na rin, nag-move na rin yung mga lalagyan nila ng mga bagahe. Kung nakita nyo yun sa mga airport. And then, use other mechanized system to eliminate the piling, carrying, and tipping of small feed bags or sacks. So, kung pwede naman na talagang lagyan na lang yan ng mga mechanized system na kung saan isasabit mo na lang siya, ilalagay mo lang siya, tapos makakarating na siya dun sa kanyang paroroonan, why not? So, in big companies, big factories, yun ginagawa ng mga companies. Hindi na sila, wala ng tao na manually handle ng mga bagay-bagay, kundi lahat machines na. So, ang ginagawa na lang ng mga tao, check na lang nila kung tama ba yung pagkalagay, kumbaga, ano na lang sila, inaayos na lang nila kung yung hindi maayos ng machine. Siyempre, yung machine hindi naman din yung perfecto. So, as much as possible, you have to mechanize your system to avoid and to eliminate manual handling. You have to remember that the work in the farm do not set specific requirements as weight limits. So, you have to consider in manual handling the task, the load, the person's capability, and the working conditions. So, you have to remember yung task na ba yan is kailangan ba talaga yan, diba? So, kailangan ba talaga gawin? So, if kailangan talagang gawin, kailangan i-consider mo yung load. Gaano ba ito kabigat? Masyado bang mabigat ito? And then, the next thing that you would consider is yung person na magbubuhat. So, kaya ba ito buhatin ng taong yun? Baka naman sobrang payat niya, kaya hindi siya sanay na magbuhat. And then, of course, the working conditions. So, safe ba ilipat ang mga bagay-bagay na yan. So, these are the things that you are to remember in the farm, and these are the specific requirements that you have to consider in manual handling of materials inside your farm. So, kung hindi talaga ma-avoid, then kailangan talaga ng manual handling, then you're going to assess now. You're going to identify the possible risks and problems that can damage the loads and vehicles or can injure and put your health and safety to the risk. Determine how the problem can hurt or harm everybody and everything. So, before manually handling everything or pag-transfer mo ng mga bagay-bagay, you're going to assess kung makakadagdag ba ito ng problema, makaka-injure ba ito ng tao, may risk ka ba nito. So, you have to determine the problem. So, bago mo gawin yung pagma-manual handling. So, that is what we call assessing. So, here are the possible problems. Number 1 is the weight over 25 kilo or are difficult to handle because of their size or shape. So, pero bilib na bilib ka, yung mga nagbubuhat ng isang sakong bigas, those are 50 kilos. So, ibig sabihin, mabigat na talaga yun. Tapos, minsan, tinatransfer pa nila sa mga trucks. So, we do respect them for doing that. Napakahirap na trabaho. But you are to identify the problems kung over 25 kilos na siya. Ano ba siya? Kayang-kaya ba siyang buhatin sa ganung shape? So, yung bigas naman kasi, yung isang sako ng bigas, kayang-kaya siya kasi parang nasi-shape lang siya. Yung bigas, diba, nag-flow lang siya. So, madali siya. But how about kung nakalagay sa isang napakalaking karton? Diba? So, are you able to handle that one? Tapos mabigat na, malaki pa. So, you are to consider that one. Another thing to consider is the need to frequent lifting or lowering or carrying over long distances. Halimbawa, kung napakalayo, diba? So, ilang beses niyo yung kailangan ilagay muna. Tapos, bubuhatin na naman. Ilagay muna, bubuhatin na naman. So, kailangan i-identify mo yung mga problems na yun. Another thing is that yung mga bagay-bagay, yung mga loads that are difficult to maneuver and or involve twisting or lifting above shoulder height or from the floor. Halimbawa, kailangan mong ilagay sa ulo mo o kailangan mo siyang ilagay dito sa balikat mo. So, yung mga ganyang mga loads na mahirap siyang i-maneuver, you are to consider those as problems. So, bigyan mo naman siya ng solution. Kaya nga, di ba sinasabi kanina na as much as possible, kailangan i-avoid mo yung mga ganon. As much as possible. Now, if not, then you're going to assess it. And as much as possible, kailangan, kumbaga, kung mahirap siyang i-maneuver, bigyan ka agad siya ng solution. So, para hindi na masyadong magkaroon pa ng problema regarding loading or unloading those materials. Pagkatapos mo i-assess, nakita mo na yung mga possible mga problems, if possible, you are to reduce. If you cannot eliminate the risk, look at how you can reduce it into an acceptable level. So, paano ba natin mapapagaan yung trabaho? So, consider these things. For example, use mechanical assistance and or lifting aids. Kumuha ka ng wheelbarrow, kumuha ka ng cart, diba? O kaya, kung siya lang mag-isa, hanapan mo siya ng kapareha para dalawa silang magbubuhat. Another thing is to change to smaller or lighter unit size. Example, yung mga nasa kalagay sa big boxes. Then, kung masyadong mabigat yun, masyadong malaki yung box, then you are going to use smaller boxes. So, na pwedeng easier na mas i-carry nung taong mag-carry nun. Reduce also lifting or carrying distances by providing mechanical or other ways to move the goods. So, kung maaari, sabi ko kanina, vehicle na lang muna. Ilagay dun sa pinakamalapit na lugar kung saan yun na talagang wala nang posibleng makapag-move yung vehicle. Diba? Para mas shorten na lang yung distance ng lalakarin ng taong magbubuhat nun. And find ways to improve the handling. You have to find lahat ng bagay. Pwede maging automatic na. Then, you have to find ways. Where manual handling tasks remains and you can't avoid them, make sure that you know how to use the correct lifting techniques and practice them to enable you to do the task accurately without accidents. Kaya babalik na naman tayo doon sa position or tamang pag-carry, pag-lift, pag-carry, at paglagay ng mga loads or ng mga bagay-bagay. Kasi kung hindi mo naman maiiwasan yung pagbubuhat ng mga bagay na yun, then you have to do it in the proper way para hindi ka masaktan at hindi ka ma-injure. Okay, in occupational health and safety guidelines, so these are the techniques in manual handling. So remember to avoid, diba? Number 2 is to assess. Number 3 is to reduce. Now, if there's no way to avoid and you assess it and you reduce it, now you're going to lift it safely. And in this topic, the lifting safely will be discussed, or you will do this one in a separate activity. So thank you and good day. So these are the occupational health and safety guidelines and procedure techniques in manual handling. So number 1, you have to avoid it as much as possible, no manual handling. Next is you're going to assess if you cannot avoid. Then after assessing, you're going to reduce. Diba? Kung talagang, and then if you did reduce na talaga, may kailangan talaga manually hand, then the last thing that we should do is to lift it safely to avoid injuries and accidents. So this last part, lifting safely, separate po siya, and you'll have another activity for this one after you're going to do this activity. So that is it for now. Thank you and good day.